Welcome back, it's Academy Kicks. Got another real versus rep here. This time this is from PK Stock X Kick. And went ahead and grabbed the 500 Soft Vision. So I do have the authentic here and we'll be doing that review. So let's get into it. All right, so on the left here, this is the replica version. And then the authentic is gonna be over here. Just keep in mind these are two different sizes, so that's going to be one of the main differences that you're going to notice. And then let's check the overall appearance and textiles used here on this replica. Then here's the authentic version. This one has been worn quite a bit by me. So you see some of the scuff marks on it. All right, let's go ahead and get into the review here. So you can see on the replica version, the thing that sticks out to me, which is the most noticeable, is in between the suede. You can see that some of that pink is a little more visible. Comparing that to the authentic version, it's not as vibrant here, kind of along the edge. So that is one of the main things that stood out to me just on the differences between the two. If you look here at the suede, at the toe box, is it suede nubuck, one of those two textiles? It's pretty fuzzy here on the replica version. Looking at the authentic, it's pretty similar, just maybe not as fuzzy. Okay, and when you're looking at the back here of the shoe, take a observation of this suede panel again. And then let's look at the authentic version. So maybe a little bit more gray in here, a little more pink on this one. The lines match up nicely where they need to be. And again, this one is much larger size than this one. Okay, on the authentic, let's look at the stitch pattern here underneath. You can kind of see how this is a little bit folded over. This leather portion. When you look at the replica, you can see that stitch line a little bit more clearly. I don't know if that's because of wear, because I've worn these quite a bit, or if that's just, just one other subtle difference between them. Okay. Looking at the outsole, gum bottom. This one's dirty, so keep that in mind as well. And this one looks really good with the imprints, the molding that they used. Color is the exact same to me, just this one's a little dirtier. And yeah, overall did a great job on that. If you look, one thing I've noticed on some of the reps I've been getting lately, the midsole portion here on the replicas, they're coming like kind of crinkled, so they're not like completely smooth. So that's one on the replica. And again here, you can notice a little more crinkled there, whereas here on the authentics, you don't really get that. So just keep an eye out for that as well. One major kind of giveaway that I've noticed is the lacing pattern. So if you ever get a pair of Yeezys, you're not sure if they're real or not, the outside lace should always go underneath first. So they did that right here on the bottom one, but on the top, they did the lacing wrong on that. And this one is actually correct. So they just missed up on one of them. Other than that, that looks accurate. Let's look at the insole here and the inside tag. So there's the authentic, made in India, 919. And then the font actually looks a little bit more narrow, not as bold on the replica here. I don't know if you can pick that up or not. Other than that, pretty good. I don't know if this still has the imprints or the branding on the insole. So yeah, it actually does. And notice how kind of firm the insole is. Looking at the replica here, the replicas are usually kind of floppy like a pancake. So again, here's the replica. Here's the authentic. That looks good to me. I can't really notice anything different on that. Again, that looks good. Alrighty. I wanted to compare some of the stitching that you see here on the Authentic. So notice the stitch pattern on all these accents. And then up here as well, kind of around the tongue, the pull. So they're just not as like clear and visible here. And then on this portion, you get a little bit more smooth leather on the outside where they kind of took the stitch as far as they could on that. It's a little bit more inwards on the Authentic. Stitch pattern just looks a little more crisp here on the Authentic, but other than that, it's pretty good here on the replica. Nothing too major, but you know, I'm just trying to be nitpicky here to show you the real differences between the Authentic version and the replica here. On the Authentic, the Adiprene is usually kind of muted and not as embossed as you would think. On the replica, it actually is more embossed, so I actually prefer this one a little bit more.